What's up, guys? So one of the movements that we love to utilize, that's a big part of any sport, any part of getting stronger, any part of life, is the squat. We squat to sit down on the toilet, we squat to sit down in a chair. We're in a squat position a lot on a bike. When you learn to absorb force and land, you land in a squat position. So teaching this movement correctly is a huge benefit to just overall life. Now, there's a lot of misconceptions about the squat. It's bad for my back, it's bad for my knees. Well, yeah, if you do it wrong, it can be. And so is crossing the road and driving if you don't do it well and pay attention to the rules. So we're going to go through some squats with Amanda. I'm going to show you some of the ways that we set it up. I'm going to show you a few variations that we use to address some issues that an athlete or client may have. And you guys can kind of go through and pick out the variation that's going to be the best place for you to start. So the premise of the squat is you start with your feet about shoulder width apart. And then I like to tell the client that just close your eyes and kind of waddle and pick your feet back and forth, pick them up until you get into the most comfortable position possible, like you were going to either jump or absorb landing. So that's going to be your natural squat position. All right. So big thing that we want to make sure our athletes is that they have their core braced, that our knees track over our toes in the same direction. Whether or not they go past our toes or whatever, that depends on the person. There's a lot of misinformation out there. But we want to exhale, so we're going to have Amanda exhale. Core set, and then she's just going to squat down as low as she can. So right there, that's good for her. And come back up. So go ahead and let's go a different angle. Good. So one thing that you can see with Amanda is that we've done a lot of work on her posterior chain and to engage her glutes and things like that, a little bit more in her quads in the variations of squat we use for her. So that's not necessarily going to be right for everybody. So if we wanted to get her to, again, compensate and even things out a little bit, we want to get her to squat straight up and down a little bit more. This has not been a part of her training program as of late, but this is where everybody wants to start and go from there. So to do that, we're going to give her a plate. She's going to hold it out in front. Go ahead and face sideways. Come back this way just a little bit. And this is giving her a little counterbalance, and it's allowing her to be a little bit more upright and straight up and down in the squat, so that we get quads, glutes, core, everything involved in the squat. Okay. As you can see, she's a little bit more upright. And again, we're only going through her range of motion, keeping this back nice and flat. We want to keep this braced a little bit more so we don't have quite so much arch. Good. And relax. So that's one progression. That offset, that plate in the front, can really help learn to stabilize that squat and make that squat a little bit easier. The other earlier regression, so kind of step one of this would be if you have a hard time getting that bottom position, or maybe you feel like you don't trust your knees, whatever the reason may be, you're like, man, I don't want to squat that low yet. Find a box or a seat or any type of chair, anything in your house. You back up to it. Sit down. Exhale. My ribs come down. My knees are tracking right over my toes. And then from there, you can progress lower and lower. You can have a chair, you can stack books up onto it, start a little bit above parallel, and then take a book away each time you go through it. A great way to practice this is 3 sets of 10 every day, just with your body weight, until that feels more and more natural. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to contact us at info@SISU about squatting or training or our online programs. And keep up with the Unspoken newsletter for more tips on training and all the variations that we use.